Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Steven Inks. My name is Steven and today we are talking about the second of my purchases from the Karas Pen Company earlier this year, and it is a little bit outside of what we normally do on this channel, but say hello to the Bolt V2. This is a rollerball pen, and I know there's a lot of opinions out there about rollerball pens. I feel personally, while I do enjoy my fountain pens a little bit more than a rollerball pen, there are some instances and cases where you would need this kind of pen. So I would like to take a look at this pen, see what it's all about, and tell you what my thoughts are. Here we go. So the pen came in this nice little box. It says create with quality. There's a little fountain pen. This is Karas Pen Company, and on the back, made in Mesa. Mesa is a city in Arizona in the United States, kind of desert country for my international viewers who don't know where that is. And it says karaspenco.com for their website. A huge major shout out to Karas Penco for shipping in a very recyclable cardboard box and reminding me that I don't have to keep every single pen box that I receive for no reason whatsoever. I'm just kidding, I'm never gonna throw this away. So here we go. Oh, right on the inside it says right on. And when you open it up, no fuss, no nonsense. Here's the pen. This foam kept it protected, but that's pretty much all there is to this box, and I love that. When you lift up the foam underneath, there's nothing here. It's just a cardboard box and a little foam protector here. So let's have a look at this pen. So as you can see, this is the Bolt V2, and this is a grab bag where they take several mismatched parts and put them together and you get a little discount. That's why the top part is brown and the bottom part is blue. They also tumble them about. These often are pieces that have nicks and scratches on them, so putting them into a metal tumbler gives them that kind of rugged look all over as opposed to a couple scratches and dings. So it looks weathered and worn. But I like that. I dig that. It looks nice to me. So let's just have a look at the action of this pen. This is a rollerball pen. It holds the Pilot G2 gel ink cartridges, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But basically, if you push down on the pen, you can see it goes in, but in order for the clip to engage, it needs to go over. And so at first I thought that would be pretty uncomfortable trying to do that constantly, but I figured out if you push and twist slightly with your finger, you can do it really easily. And you can see the point is coming in when I do that. So it's it took a little bit of getting used to, but it's kind of cool. And you can see this is like an Allen bolt right there. And as the same with how the clip is attached, you could likely unscrew this if you had the right bolts. I won't, but there you go. And this clip is very stiff, but you can see it does go up enough to fit into a relatively thick shirt, even like a work shirt. If you work in a factory of some sort, you could probably bust this bad boy on there. So seems to work. Looking inside, it takes quite a few twists to get off, which is fine because you won't be refilling this often. There's a rubber O-ring around the side, gives it a nice final feel to the twist. And this is the Pilot G2, right? So this is not a fountain pen. This is the Pilot G2 in a 0.5 nib point. And inside there's a screw. It actually looks very similar to the kind you'd find in an actual Pilot G2, which I will show you in just a little bit. So that's the pen. It feels comfortable. It's not heavy. It's kind of like a medium weight. This almost feels like a bicycle or something that you're holding, or it feels hollow and light, but not cheap, and very sturdy. So should be fun to play with. Just for reference, the ink that it takes, the Pilot G2. This is a Pilot G2, and it has a 0.7 millimeter line, which this has a 0.5 in it, but you could put the 0.7 in. They're the exact same. I'll show you that here. So you might want to look at those two line weights and decide which one fits your style a little bit better. This is the cartridge, and in fact, I believe, I don't know if I can get it out, but I believe that this spring right here is actually very similar. I don't think I can get it out. If I wanted to play around with it, I think I could, but whatever. This spring is very similar to the one that's inside this pen. So really what this is a fancy case for this pen. So if you don't like this pen, you most likely are not going to like this pen. You might want to even consider going getting a set of Pilot G2s and play around with them, see what you think before investing in something like this. But I actually knew that I enjoy G2s. I've been using them on and off. There are times when, as much as I love fountain pens, I can't always use one. So particularly like if I'm loaning a pen to someone else, I would rather give them a rollerball pen, have them hold something they're familiar with, than to hold one of my fountain pens and not be able to figure it out and possibly hurt it. So these are kind of sturdy all-around pens that you can use. Feel free to let someone borrow and write with. But yeah, definitely not a fountain pen. We are going to play with this pen and see what we got. All right, making lines with our pen. We're skipping the ink fill for this video because obviously this pen, again, it's not a fountain pen, it's a rollerball pen, so it does not need to be filled with ink. It just needs to have the ink insert, which is available in a lot of stores, Office Depot, Target, I think probably Walmart sells them if you're in the US, and a lot of other main chain office supply stores, those type of places if you're international. And so this is the Karas Bolt V2 with a Pilot G2 0.5 millimeter insert. You can see that's the line weight that you end up with. It's nice. It's quite thin. You do have to push a little more than with a fountain pen. You do have to kind of lay into it in order to get what you need. I'm going to do some shapes down here like I normally do. So it does feel scratchier than a fountain pen. If you are married to the idea of fountain pens, as so many of us are, this may not be a good match for you. I wanted something a little different that I could take to work and not worry about if I had to loan one to somebody. So the response, it's relatively responsive, but you can see it sort of skipping out a little bit. That's because I'm giving it that fountain pen pressure when I really should be giving it more of a rollerball pressure. And so yeah, it is not a perfect by any means pen. By the nature of it being a rollerball cartridge, you are going to find that you need more pressure. Lines get lighter and lines can cut out and skip out if you're not giving it the pressure that it needs. Overall though, it is fun to use. This pen is, it's also fun to click it open and closed. Oh, it's closed. All right, and yeah, it's a little bit of a different experience. So there's that, and we will do a little bit of this. I'm going to show you the 0.7 cartridge just in case. that's more your speed. This is pretty fine. There's nothing wrong with fine. I personally prefer finer lines for my drawings, but I have been a little more partial to slightly fuller lines. Recent videos on my channel, I have not been 100% pure to the extra fine lines that I used to be, where I just needed to be extra fine all the time, and I was searching for the world's finest line. I think Pilot and Platinum fountain pens have that pretty much on a lock, so if you are looking for that ultra extra fine line, probably be good working with a Platinum Preppy or a Plaisir or a Pilot Kakuno, a Pilot Pilot Penmanship, if you must. I have a strong preference for the Kakuno, just the shape is nicer to me. But anyway, this is what I'm getting out of this pen. Again, it does have a little bit of scratchiness to it because of the very nature of it being a very fine pointed gel pen or rollerball pen, and I'm not very knowledgeable about what's good when it comes to a rollerball pen, but I do like it, and then the lines have a little bit of character to them. So that's the 0.5. And just really quick, even though this pen is not up on trial right now, I'm gonna go look at the Pilot G2 0.7 millimeter, just so you can see. You could put either one of these cartridges, they're the exact same, into this pen, but just so you know what you're dealing with. Some people might prefer these bolder lines, and these are going on a little bit more smooth, so maybe the 0.7 is a really good choice for this pen. I'm kind of enjoying the smoothness here, but you would have to go dark and bold detail with your drawings. Should be no problem for those of you guys who like a nice thick line. This is fun. I might in the future, after this 0.5 runs out, go for the 0.7, because I am kind of feeling this line a little bit more. Like I said, people's preferences change over time. For me, I haven't been completely loyal to the superfine line, superfine detail type of art that I used to be in awe of and want to recreate all the time. Sometimes a really nice, simple shape that has good values is preferred above all of that fussiness and fine detail. So anyway, this is the 0.7 insert. You'll have to read the fine print on whatever inserts you buy for what you end up doing. But this is this and this, and this pen right here. So let's draw something fun with it. I was thinking I might do a redraw of an old piece that I did several years ago that I was never really happy with how it came out, and I'm going to use this pen. And the reason that there's two on the left-hand side and the right-hand side is I thought it might be interesting to see the comparison of the 0.5 and the 0.7, since I have both of them with the G2, and I just put them both in the Bolt V2 to use them. And the funny thing is, I actually can't remember which one was the 0.5 and the 0.7, and the result was really similar. The only difference being that the 0.7 felt nicer. It was smoother, and it gave me less kind of scratchy resistant type feedback. One of the interesting things about using a rollerball after having mostly used fountain pens for at least the last couple of years that I've had this YouTube channel is that it's interesting how the point of the tip, when it goes into paper, particularly this kind of a little bit more pulpy paper that's in my sketchbook here, this is my cheap sketchbook, it kind of engraves a little bit and puts like a groove into the paper, which means that when you're trying to go over the side to kind of thicken the line weight along the side, it's a little bit harder to do because the point wants to go into that groove. It's like a channel for your ink. So I have a few issues with that. It's interesting though. I love this pen and I use it a lot. Even though it's not my fountain pen, I don't really expect it to be. So hope you enjoyed my little drawings. Final thoughts. I do not think that this pen is as smooth as a fountain pen. I don't think that it is the same as a fountain pen, and that's because it's not. So I do enjoy some things about the design, how it looks, how it behaves. It's definitely a conversation starter. The limitations of this pen, however, are pretty much the same limitations as the Pilot G2, because the cartridge that is inside of this pen is the same as the cartridge inside of this pen, which is obviously a lot cheaper. So if you don't see the value in having a machined aluminum version of this, then this would probably be your better bet. That being said, I really do like this pen. I like using it. I like having it available to people who are not fountain pen people if I need to loan someone a pen really quick. And I've had a couple of really great conversations about it, and it's really been an enjoyable thing to have in my collection. I do feel that for art, again, talking about the limitations of this pen, which are the same as this pen, being a rollerball pen, there are some things about making art with it that are a little less comfortable, trading off from the convenience of being able to use rollerball pens and how that affects the variety of materials you can use, using cheaper quality paper, for example, being able to doodle in a sketchbook, a pamphlet, or a handout or something while you're at a meeting. So I enjoy that part of it, and I do think that if you are interested in any of those things that I just mentioned, that this pen would be a great fit for you. Check it out on the Karas Pen Co. website, which is linked in the video description. And thank you again for tuning in, hearing my rambling thoughts, and for all those likes and subscribes. Keep that going. If you would like to be part of this little YouTube community that we're building, please click the link to subscribe, and do take care of yourselves. We will see you in the next video.